Welcome everyone. Today's day one of our next game. Not this game, but we're going to do a new project. This is called Monster Maze. Maze games are kind of fun. They're not too hard to code. I like to do them as one of our first projects, and it kind of helps so you learn all the ins and outs of, or many of the ins and outs when it comes to Game Maker. So we're going to try that, and they're actually fun, and it's fun to play too. So create a new project here. It asks you when you create a new project whether you want to do a drag and drop project or a Game Maker language project. We're still not quite ready for Game Maker language, so we're going to still do this as drag and drop. Drag and drop means you just pull those little images off to the right and plop it in your coding thing. It's got lines and stuff. So we're going to do that version. Now, for my class, if you could put this out in your H drive, if your H drive is missing, then and you have OneDrive set up, you can put it out in OneDrive. What you don't want to do is store it locally on your machine, because the machines randomly get wiped. So if you store it locally and it gets wiped, then you lose all your stuff. So you either want to store it out on the network or store it out in the cloud. So I'm going to choose the network for me, although I probably shouldn't. I want to be able to work on this. But so in my class, that's the H drive, and then I go here, and I have lots of subfolders. But here, I'm going to start a new game, and we're going to call this one Maze, I guess. So this is Monster Maze. It's a maze. It's got monsters. So now we have a new one. Sure. And that gives us an empty project. Is it really empty? And the answer is no. There is one room there already. And so we're going to open that up. Okay, so in Monster Maze, the grid size is super important, because our mazes are going to be made up of all these little blocks of things. And each of those blocks will fit into one of these squares. So we've got to make sure the squares are the right size. The sprites we're going to use are 32 by 32, so this grid size that's predefined for this room is going to be fine. Okay, so you don't need to change that. One thing you might want to do with the room is give it a nice background color. All right, let me just make sure this is still running. There we go. Okay, so we've got our grid size set up. We want to set a background color. So make sure you're on the background layer. Here's our layer window. Click on layers. Now you're not going to see that unless you open the room up. So double click on room. That'll open this up, hopefully. Then go to background. We don't have a background sprite in this, but we do want a nice color. So we click here. And here's a color picker like you might see for like doing web stuff. You can click in this window to kind of get you close to the color you want. I kind of like a kind of tan background, kind of light, I guess. The actual colors here that you're going to get, that's a little dark for me, so I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. Maybe there. Kind of sand colored, I guess. But you can choose whatever color you want. And we say, okay, yay. And that's our background color. Okay. Now, the current aspect ratio here, we have 1024 by 768. If you were going to reduce that fraction, what would it be? And the answer would be 4/3, I guess. 4 by 3, which is the old aspect ratio for an old computer screen. But our computer screens don't use this aspect ratio anymore. Our computer screens use aspect ratio of 16 by 9. It's 16 units wide by 9 units high. It's the same aspect ratio they use in movie theaters for big movies. That ratio always stays the same. So we got the wrong ratio here. The default for our screen size is bad. So what would be a better one? Good question. Well, something that's 16 by 9, I suppose. Unfortunately, I don't have those numbers in my head, so we're going to just try this old aspect ratio, and then we might expand it later once I have time to do the numbers. But right now, we'll just keep it this size. Now, when you're doing a maze, There's a couple things you need to have. Certainly you need walls, right, to make the maze. You need a player object. Eventually you're going to need monsters because it's called Monster Maze, so we've got to do that. So why don't we start with the walls? Okay. So here I right-click here and I say Create Sprite. Again, this is a little bit older version of GameMaker. It's different than yours, but perhaps. But you want to create a sprite in this folder. And we're going to call this one SPR_wall. We'll use the naming conventions they've been using in GameMaker since the start. This is kind of old school how they do the underscore. That's like a C programmer type thing. But you can tell the person that originally created GameMaker was kind of an old C programmer. We want to import this picture. So the size is wrong. We want it to be the same as our grid size. But when we import the picture, it'll reset it. Where are all the pictures or the sprites? That'll be out in your S drive. If you don't have an S drive, then I think the sprites are attached to the assignment. Here, let's look at the assignment. Let's see if we can see the assignment first of all. Where's Monster Maze? There's Monster Maze. I haven't made it available yet. So let me publish that so that you can get it. And you know there's the sprite resources. So if you don't have an S drive to go get the sprites resources, you can download the zip file here, unzip it, and then grab the resources from there. Okay. I'll work on these dates. Those dates aren't accurate, but at least you have access to it now. Okay, but we're going to get it. If you have access to the S drive, it's a little bit easier to get it from there. So where was I? Here. So my S drive is actually equivalent to the S drive is equivalent to my W drive. And I want to go out to game design, and then Monster Maze is here, 4.5 maze games. Resources. Oh, look there. See right there, there's some old videos, but there's no videos in there. I was thinking maybe I hit the jackpot, but no. So I got to make the videos. That's what I'm doing. Resources. It's always nice when you're choosing sprites to be able to see them. So I always change the view here. Where's the view? That's here. Change that to something that you can see the pictures with. Oh, these sprites are terrible. We don't want to use these sprites. Oh, these are the wrong sprites. Yeah, let's find the right sprites. Yeah, this one. See where it says sprites? You want that one. Not this one, but this one. Here's maze, platform. So we're going down deep into this one. Here are the right sprites. These are nicer. Some of these are animated, so. We have treasure chests and detonators and diamonds and doors and explosions and lots of cool stuff. Anything you might need for a maze game is in here, mostly. And there's monsters too. There's some NPCs you can talk to perhaps. Here's some scrolls. Here's some monsters, angry statue monsters. And here we are. Here's our walls, okay? So there's 4 types of walls, or actually 5. If you want to do an animated wall, say you have to punch through a wall, you could show it as you're banging on it. Finally, it disintegrates. Here's a little bit smaller wall. Here's some damaged wooden walls. The one I like is this cracked one for some reason. It makes it look kind of old, but we're not going to make the walls destroyable. You can do that later if you want to add that to your game, but I kind of like this one. Pick one that you like. Maybe not that one, but the other ones are good. If it's really cracked, you have to make it transparent, but we can do that too. But this one just got a few cracks in it. Let's say open. Okay, fine. Notice it resized our sprite to be 32 by 32. What does it look like? It looks like that. Don't click down here, because when you click down here, it moves the origin. That's not what you want. You want the origin to be up the top left corner. You can also choose top left here. But if you accidentally click down here, it's going to move the origin, and all of your walls are going to be out of alignment from the grid. Because it places things all based on this origin point. And we want that to be the top left corner. Yeah, so don't click in here. Okay, so just make sure it says top left. So we have our sprite for our wall. What else are we going to need? I guess we need a player object, so we might as well do that. Since we're in sprite mode, we'll stay there. So right click here, create another sprite, and we're going to use, we'll call it sprite, what do I call this person? Yeah, this is Explorer. This is our Explorer. Okay. So we're going to import that sprite. At first here we're going to choose a sprite that doesn't animate. We're going to add animation later. So I'm just going to choose one of these NPCs. What's an NPC? A non-playable character. We're going to make it a playable character. So you can choose one of these to start with. There's boy, there's dark guy, there's doctor, there's explorer girl. I like that one. Yeah, but that one's animated, so we're going to wait on that one. There's guy. Guy's in this game. Hey. Guy's there. What's that guy's name? Guy, that's his name, right? Old man. Okay, I'm an old man, so I'm going to choose old man. But no, you can choose some evil person, or not so evil. I don't know. Just pick one of these. Okay. I'll be Guy. Okay. I'm going to be Guy. Doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm Guy. And there's Guy, and it's already transparent, so that's cool. We don't have to take away that background color. Okay. So we have our two sprites that we need to start with. So now let's start putting some things in the room. Well, we can't yet because all we have is sprites. Remember, to do anything with anything, you need to make objects that use these sprites. So our next step is to make objects. So we create an object. Here we go. Create object. What are we going to call it? We'll call it object wall. Just like in our other games, we'll choose the sprite and we'll make it solid. So make sure to say solid here. Walls are solid, and it gives you some unique characteristics if you mark it solid. And that's pretty much it. Walls are pretty boring. They just sit there and be solid, I guess. And then finally, we're going to make our Explorer object. So object Explorer. And we'll load that Explorer sprite that you chose. Okay, so that's our Explorer. And what we're going to try to do today is get our Explorer to move around a bit and make a maze. All right, we don't want to click solid here, so don't do that. Don't click solid, that's bad. Now that we have objects, though, we can put those objects in a room. Yeah. Yeah, solid on object wall. See, that's solid. But Explorer, nope, don't click it, because that moves around. Okay, so now we go to our room now, and we have the pieces we need to do things. So first thing I would do is I would just put walls around the whole room. You don't want to allow the Explorer to get out of the room, except through the door. We'll talk about doors later. But notice how it's not letting me put anything on this layer, because I'm on the wrong layer. It says, it's not going to work. It's telling you this is bad. I got to make sure I'm on the instances layer. We can't put objects on the background layer. They can only go on an objects layer. Remember, the word instance and object mean the same thing. So objects go on this layer because they're instances, I guess. So make sure you switch to the instances layer before you drag it on. Okay. Now, if you have it selected over here, to speed things up, you can hold down the Alt key, and now you can click and drag and paint on these walls. If you make a little mess up here, what you can do is you can hold down the Shift key and then create a selection box and then delete those boxes. Okay. You do have to be careful here that you don't put, well, I guess it doesn't matter too much, but you don't want to put two walls in the same place. Evidently, that's a possibility. and that might mess things up. So try to make it so that you only have one object per square. Okay. And again, I'm just holding down the Alt key and then clicking it, left clicking and dragging with my mouse. You can't see that, but that's what I'm doing. Oops, I missed. I'm getting better at this, but it's kind of hard. Okay. And again, to select some ones like the errant ones, you can make a selection box. They get selected, and then you can say delete. Okay, so that's a good starting room. Okay, and I want to illustrate a certain problem. So I'm going to put a long hallway here. Oh, I'm going to hold down the Alt key. So just put in a skinny hallway like this, okay? And that's going to be our way out, okay? Okay, and then I guess we need an explorer, so put the explorer in there. There's our explorer dude. Okay. So if I play the game now, it saves it. But it's kind of stupid because, well, it feels kind of dumb because you can't do anything yet. You hit the keyboard, nothing happens. It just sits there. It is animating. I mean, it has a frame rate, it's doing all those things, but we don't have any user interaction, so it's not a game. We have no challenges, so it's not a game. There's no point to this. It's not a game. You know, we talked about what's a game, what's not a game. This is not a game yet. It doesn't do anything yet. So we've got to make it do something. Well, it's important to add interactivity, right? Interactivity. How to make this interactive? Well, we want to have the user be able to control the player character. Okay, so we go to the player character, the Explorer character. So I'll open up that. And we want to be able to move, right? So we would say add event. And then we're going to do a key down event, because we want this to repeat. If they keep holding it down, we want it to keep doing that, whatever they're doing. So we would say, let's go to the right. Well, yeah, let's go to the right. So key down right. What happens when the Explorer, when the user presses the keyboard, the right arrow, what should happen? Now, if you're one of those AW or WASD people, you can instead use, I guess, the D key. If you can't drive with your right hand instead of your left hand. A lot of games you use your left hand to drive and the mouse to turn or do something else, right? So if you're one of those type of people, then you can change that to D. But I'm going to use the right arrow. And here we're trying to add some movement, so we might say move here. And we're not going to move diagonally in this game. We're going to just move right and left, up and down. So we can use this first one. Okay. Set direction fixed. We want to go to the right. But it's not sufficient just to set the direction to the right. You also have to give it a speed. So what's going to be our game speed? Or how fast do we want this character to move across the screen? So I'm thinking a good speed might be 8 to start with. If we were smart, we'd make a constant, and then we could just change that constant once. But, we can try this. Let's see if it works. So I hit the go button, and I hit the right key. And that's fast. It goes right off screen. Hey, those walls are solid. How do we get out of the room? The walls are solid. Well, we didn't code anything. What should happen when you hit a solid wall? So it just keeps, it's still going. It's not in the room. It's just happily going to the right. Still going. Computer's keeping track of its position every frame. You're never going to see it again because we don't have a left key. And, well, there's lots of problems. Okay. 8 was a little fast. But you got to be careful here in maze games. You can't just change it to anything you want. Now, a lot of people think, okay, I'm going to try 6. Well, there's a problem with 6. If you use 6, then that doesn't divide evenly into the grid size. So in between frames, you could be halfway into the wall before you realize you're into the wall, and now you're stuck in the wall. Okay. So you got to make sure that your speed divides evenly into your grid size. Does 8 divide evenly into 32? Well, let's see. 8 times 4 is 32. Yeah, there's no remainder. So yeah, it does. So 8's a good speed. 6 is not a good speed. 6 does not divide evenly into 32, which is our grid size. That would be a bad speed. So don't choose 6. You might choose, well, you could choose 4, right? 4 would work. 4 times 8 is 32. 2 is good. 1 is good. 0, that doesn't make any sense. So we're kind of limited here on speed. Let's make this game relatively fast. A lot of people get bored in games because you can't walk fast enough. So we're gonna stick with 8. It seems a little fast, but we're gonna try that. Okay. So that's our speed. We're going to the right. But the problem is, another problem is when you hit the key and then you let go, it doesn't stop. Right? I'm just going to tap the right arrow and see it just goes. I'm not pressing the key. It still goes. I don't want it to go when I'm not pressing the key. That's bad. How do you get it not to go when you're not pressing a key? Yeah. Yeah, you could do key up. That's an idea. I wonder if that would work. Wait for the key to be up and then you stop. I've never tried that. Usually what I do is I say no key. There's an event that say if you're not pressing any key, stop. Okay. But if you say key up, what would that do? See, the problem is if you're holding down the left key and the right key at the same time and you lift the right key up, it's going to stop it even though you're holding down the left key. So I don't think that will work. So it's a good idea though. Let's try the no key event. How about that? So we add an event and we say, well, is there an event for not pressing anything? It's kind of a non-event event. So we're going to say key down, no key. See that one there? If they're not pressing down any key. This has problems with it too, but hopefully we'll fix those. I can't remember how though. Okay, so if you're not pressing any key, then we just want to stop. The direction doesn't matter. We just want to stop. So we're going to set the speed then to 0. Doesn't matter which direction you're going if you're not moving in any direction, right? You stop. So now you stop. Okay, so let's try it now and see if we stop. I always like to try it. Right as I code it, I try it. See if it does what I think it's going to do. Yep, I'm stopping. Tapping the keyboard, and then I go right through the wall. Okay, so now I'm not just being flung outside the room. I stop. All right, so I guess we can do the other directions now. So back to the Explorer then. Here's our Explorer. We could do the other key. So here, key down, I'm going to use the up key, let's say. And it's just the same thing. We set two things. We set the direction. This time we're going up. And then our speed, again, we want to use the consistent speed. So we're going to say 8. Okay? All right. So that's up. And then let's do left next. So we say key down left. That's our left arrow. Same pattern. We're going left this time, though, at a speed of 8. And then finally, see that? Finally, we add key down, down. It's kind of redundant, key down, down. But with the key down, it's the down key. And then we set our direction down. Same thing, we set the speed to 8. Like so. Okay. So now we should be able to move around. We still don't interact with walls yet, but okay, so now I can move. Check it out. I'm moving. Yay. Okay. I can still move out of the wall, outside the room, because the walls are, there's no interaction with walls yet. Okay. 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 So that's movement, right? So let's fix our problems with the wall, right? What's the event we should attach to is the question. Yeah, what do you think? Yeah. So when you collide, when the explorer collides with the wall, that's an event. So we say add event. Here we say collision. And we're not colliding with ourselves, that would be silly. But you collide with the wall. What should happen when you collide with the wall? Yeah, you just want to stop. Just like we do when we lift the key, you just want to stop. Okay, so let's see if we stay inside the room now. Boink. Okay, I'm trying to get out. I can't. So I can no longer go through walls. The only way to go through walls is if I have a platter and I run as fast as I can using a shout, and then I can clip through the walls in Skyrim. You know that hack? It works really well. It's a great hack. Yeah, walls don't mean anything in Skyrim. If you know the platter shout, the speed shout, you can actually go right through the wall. You get to see parts of the game you're not supposed to see. It's kind of funny. Yeah.
So when you're going downward, you can't go left and right. So when you're going,
yeah,
you can go up.
yeah, it's right. It only notices that one key. If we can do left and right at the same time, then we can move diagonally, right? Right? We don't. We can only go one direction, and it's the first one you press down. Okay. A little bit limiting, but we're trying to keep it easy. Okay. But we have a problem. Okay. Every maze game has this problem. It's called the skinny hallway problem. The skinny hallway. I'm trying to get in this hallway. Okay, I'm trying to. No, that's not right. Try to get into your hallway. You can't get into it. Finally. Okay, that's the skinny hallway problem. If you leave that in your game and you don't fix this problem, no one's going to play your game. It's too much of a pain to go through a skinny hallway. You can't. You got to be lined up perfectly to get in the hallway. Okay. You tap and tap and tap and tap, and so you've got this problem with skinny hallways. Okay, I cannot get in this hallway. It's so frustrating, and they do that for hours. Finally, get in the hallway. Okay, that's a gameplay thing. No one's going to play your game if you leave it like that. Well, maybe somebody will. Maybe people will play. I don't know, Dark Souls. If you play that game, then you might be patient enough to actually get into the hallway, because Dark Souls is impossible to play. Okay, so how do you fix the skinny hallway problem? Well, one answer is just make the hallway bigger. Yeah, there's that. But this is a maze game. It's supposed to be, we're going to have very complicated ways of getting through this maze. So we got to make this easier. So one of the ways you can avoid the skinny hallway problem is what you can do is you can make sure that the character never gets out of alignment with the grid. Okay? Because we put the walls in with using the grid, we can use the grid to help keep us aligned. So that, like say if I'm right here and I tap it, it's going to move one square down. It's not going to stop moving until it completes the previous move, and it's going to move from grid box to grid box. And then the skinny hallway problem goes away because it automatically aligns itself. Okay? It's probably easier to show you how to make it go away than it is to try to describe it. So let's try that. We're gonna do something first. Before we move in any of these directions, we're gonna check something. Okay, so here we're in the Explorer, and say we're doing, let's just do the same order. Well, we'll do the order that are listed here. In the no key event, well, we'll wait on that one. So let's say the left key. If we make a rule, you can't move into a new direction until you complete the previous direction. Okay? You have to be aligned before you go out in this new direction. So what we can say is, we can say, let's type in grid here. Yeah, it says create grid, grid value, clear grid. It's not there. Let's try the word align. That's not there either. Ooh, wow. I don't even know what to say then here. Check. Check is not there. If, let's look at some of these. Mouse and keyboard, gamepad, collisions. No. Boy, I don't know. What I'm looking for is check for alignment. That's what I'm doing for. Here's instance variables. Notice it's not there. Yeah. It used to be there. That was something normal in GameMaker. You have this check align. Yeah, so how do you check for alignment? Wow. Yeah. Yeah, you can use code. I'm trying to avoid using code. So how do you avoid using code to check for alignment? You say, well, this is a problem. What you can do is you can create a script. Okay, a script is a little function you can call to check the alignment for you. Okay, so we're going to have to do that. I didn't remember this. This is bad. It might be good to look at my previous version of this game to see what I did. Yeah, it's going to have to be a script because we've got to call it in 4 or 5 different spots. All right, so we're going to create a new script. I should have thought about this before I got. So right-click here and say Create Script. Now, what is a script? Well, that's just changed in a recent version of GameMaker. But basically, it's a way to make your own things for your toolbox. You can make your own thing. So we're going to create this script, and we're going to call it. I guess it doesn't matter anymore. We'll call this script. I guess for scripts, you can't change this name up here. Notice I'm trying to change it, and I can't. You have to change it over here. So click on it once, and then click on it again. And you can change the script name there. So we're going to say, we're just going to call this one scripts. Because in this new version of GameMaker, oh, do I have the new version? This is not the new version. Oh, so I'm in trouble here. Okay, so we're going to have to do it. Oh, this is not going to work. Darn it. All right. Yeah, I have an older version of GameMaker than the students in my class. So mine's still doing it the old way, and the new way will only work on the new version, and the old way will only work on the old version, and it doesn't work the other ways. So we can't use a script. Sorry, everyone. No script. Which means then we have to hard code this, which is awful. Okay, so how do we do this? So we go in the Explorer. We're going to do the left key, okay? So the left key. And before we move left, we want to make sure that we're aligned with the grid. What's our grid size? Our grid size is 32. Okay. So here's the trick. First, drag this out there. If variable. See, it's under the common menu. This one here. If variable. What variable are we looking for? Well, a couple variables. Oh, how do you say this? I'm just thinking out loud. Okay, our first variable is x, right? That's the x coordinate of our Explorer. Now there's an operator in GameMaker language, which is a type of division operator. It's called a mod operator or a modulus operator. What's weird about this operator is that it instead of returning you how many times this number divides into this other number, it's division, it tells you the remainder. Okay, so if you want to see if something evenly divides into something, you try to check to see if the remainder is 0. If the remainder is 0, then you know it evenly divides into it. we can use that here. We say x mod. Yeah, mod's a keyword. That's actually a type of division. So you're dividing x by, what's our grid size? 32. And we're checking to see if that's equal to 0. In English, what are we saying? We're saying, okay, we're going to check to see if x divides evenly into 32. How are we going to do that? Well, if we get a remainder of 0, well, that's the definition of dividing evenly, right? You have no remainder. That means you're lined up with the grid, at least on the horizontal plane. Okay? So that's the first thing. You have to check that. But that's not good enough because this is a two-dimensional game, so we have to check both dimensions. Yeah, so what to do, yeah, we'll do that in a second. We have to put one more if statement. Now, so you grab another if statement and put it on the right side over here. See right there? You got to put that there. Okay. Now, I would normally put this in a script, so we only have to do it once, but again, our scripts are messed up. So here, the variable, we also want to make sure it's aligned vertically, too. Well, luckily, the grid size is the same vertically and horizontally. So you say y mod 32. Okay. So if this is true, say it happens to line up horizontally with the grid, then we want to check to see if it lines up with the grid vertically, too. So it does this one next. And then and only then are we allowed to move in a new direction. We know we're lined up. So now drag this to the right of, you have to grab it twice, to the right of there. And then grab this and attach it to the bottom. You have to grab it twice. Put it there. Okay? Because you want both of these things to be done. The only way we can get to these two things if both of these things are true. That means if it's lined up with the grid horizontally and if it's lined up with the grid vertically, then I can go left. Okay? Now, I would much rather have put this into a script, but again, scripts have changed between the two versions that we're using. So we have to do it manually. Okay? So the next thing I would do, clearly we have to do this on every single movement command, unfortunately. So we click here, and then hold down the shift key and click there. Okay? That selects both of the if statements, and then you want to say copy. Okay, so you can't do it there. So you got to say Control C. Control C on your keyboard. Now we've copied that. I'm just trying to make it so we don't have to keep doing this over and over again. So now I go back to another, we've done left, now we want to do up. And so I'm going to paste it in here. Control V. Notice it didn't work though. Let me go back and see why it didn't work. Maybe the Control C doesn't work. I thought it did. Control C. But that would be bad if that doesn't work. I'm in here, Control V. Oh, there it is. But see how it puts it in the wrong place? It puts that at the bottom. Oh, it did the whole thing. I didn't want all of it. I just wanted the first two. So this can get really confusing really fast. So I'm going to delete these two. And then you want to make sure that the real ones go on the right. Well, this one goes on the right side. And then this one, you drag underneath that one. Okay? So it's always the same pattern. You check the X alignment. You check the Y alignment. And then if they're both aligned, then go in the new direction at the speed. Okay? So they're all the same. So you want to make sure you do that on all of the directions. Yeah. Okay, I'll be over. Okay, so I'm going to do the rest of my directions, but again, it's the same pattern. I'm going to pause the video here so you don't have to watch me do it. All right, so I've done it for all the other directions. Let's see if it actually works. And so I'm going left and right. Let's see if I line up. I'm seeing if I can get in the hallway easy. Oh, I'm stuck. That's not bad. Why am I stuck? I'm not aligned. Why am I not aligned? I put the alignment thing on all of the directions. Yeah, what do you think, Max?
Because you can only move if you're aligned, but it doesn't, when the no key is pressed.
Right, we didn't check no key. We shouldn't be able to stop until we're aligned either. Because here I let go and I wasn't aligned. And if you get out of alignment in a maze game, you never move again. Okay? Because it keeps waiting for you to get lined up, and you're not moving, and you can't move because it's not going to let you move until you're lined up. So you're in this catch-22 right here. You are stuck. Okay? So not only do you have to put that code in for all the movement keys, but also the no key event needs to have it as well. Okay? But this time we don't have to set the direction, right? So I'm just going to paste that in. We're not doing the direction part, but we are setting the speed to 0, right? We're only stopping. We're waiting to stop until we're aligned with both the grid, both on an x axis and the y-axis. Then we stop. Okay. Now we won't get stuck, but then watch what happens to the skinny hallway problem. It now disappears. Okay, so here we are. Oh, happy land. I got to get in this hallway. There. Ooh, first time. Okay. Skinny hallway problems goes away, and you move one square at a time. See, I'm just tapping. See, I'm always aligned with the grid every time I stop. I don't stop until I'm aligned with the grid. And I can get in the hallways. Lots simpler. See how easy that is? Pretty cool. Okay. So now we have a character that can move in all directions, or at least the primary directions. And then we don't have the skinny hallway problem. We've got rid of that. Yay. Okay. Well, that's good. Okay, so we're going to take a little break here, and then we're going to take a look at a couple of objects. We want to add a gem, or like a diamond, to a room, and we also want to add a door. The rule in this game is you can't open the door until you collect all the diamonds. And you can't go to the next room until you can hit the exit sign. We haven't made that either yet. So we're going to try to make that next. But take a little break. All right, next is diamonds and doors. Anytime we add a new thing to our game, a new object, we have to make some sprites for it typically. So we right-click on sprites, say create sprite. Or if you're in a newer version of GameMaker, it's create and then choose sprite from the list. Make sure you're in the sprite folder, however. We create the sprite, and we're going to import the one we need for our diamonds. I think there's one called gem. Yeah, here's the gem. Some of these gems sparkle. If you like sparkly stuff, you can do sparkly things. I like sparkly things, but those are animated. They're little animation strips. They look kind of funny here, but if you click on them, they actually sparkle. I like diamonds, so there is a diamond one in here, so you can use that one, but that doesn't sparkle, I don't think. Let's look at diamonds. There's diamond. Oh, this one's sparkly. Okay, so I'm going to choose that one, sparkly diamonds. It's an animation, right? And so if you play the animation here, it'll sparkle. See, it's a diamond, it's sparkling. I like sparkly things. Okay, so we'll go with that. Okay. Let's give it a meaningful name, though. Sprite Diamond. Okay, so we got a diamond there. And it sparkles. All right, and then we need a door. Doors don't do much anything. They open, they close. These ones will just be there or they'll disappear, so they don't need to animate. So we say create sprite, and here we say door. And we need a door sprite. They have a few to choose from. Here's the one I like. It's right next to diamonds, surprisingly. So here's door. So we have a door. It's not animated, so we're good. And it has transparent background, so that's good. Now that we have the sprites, we can create the objects now. So right-click on Objects, Create Object. Here's our diamond. And we can use our sparkly diamond thing. And then finally we can create our door. obj_door, and we'll use our door sprite. Now doors are a little bit weird, because one, we want doors to be solid, but we want doors to be just like walls. Okay, we want them to get in the way. We don't want to have to write a collision event between the Explorer and the door when it's just going to work exactly the same as a wall. So we're going to make wall the parent. We're going to make wall the parent of door, and then a door is a wall. So make sure you choose wall here. So make sure you say parent, click on parent, and set the parent for door equal to wall. And then the Explorer will treat the door just like a wall and won't walk into it. Also make the door solid. Okay. So now we can put those things in our room because we have objects now. So again, I'm going to put the door right here. You've got to get the door open. What opens the door? Well, you could do keys and stuff. But we're going to do, if they collect all the diamonds, then the door will open. Okay, kind of thing. So I'm going to put a diamond over here, let's say. And I'll put a diamond. I'm not seeing the diamonds very well in this background, though. I'm just not seeing them very well. So we'll have to see once we get in the game. But we'll try it once it... if we run the game now, I'm just running it just to see if the diamonds are pretty visible or not. They look a little bit, if they animate, I guess those looks okay. Maybe a little darker background might help. But, we can go and we want to pick up these diamonds, right? Got a couple problems already. Well, the diamonds will disappear as soon as we touch them, so it doesn't matter. But we want to collect diamonds. You get all the diamonds, the door opens. That's the idea. Okay. So first we have to collect the diamond, I guess. So if we go to the Explorer and we add a collision event with the diamond, well, what should happen? Yeah, we destroy the diamond because we don't want the diamond to be in there. If we just take destroy instance and drag it out there, though, we end up destroying ourselves because we're in the Explorer object. We've got to remember to change this to say other. Don't say diamond because that will destroy all the diamonds on the level. You want to say other, the other thing you crashed into. Destroys the other thing. Okay. But you probably should score points, right? I guess. We'll worry about scoring points later. So we'll just leave that as a to-do. You get points or maybe not. Maybe the whole point of this game is to get to the next level. So we'll have to decide on that. Okay, so we destroyed the diamond. Now, how do we make it so that the door opens when all the diamonds are gone? Well, we're actually going to put that on the door. It's the door's responsibility to count up the number of diamonds in the room to make sure there's no diamonds in there. So here we're going to add an event, and this event is kind of strange. We want the door to count the number of diamonds every frame. And then if there's no more diamonds, then we want the door to destroy itself, which is strange. Okay, so in the door object, we had a step event here. Yeah, it's a little redundant. And here you say count. And what we want to do is count, let's see, which one is it? This one. Get instance count. How many objects are there. Well, what kind of objects are you counting? Well, we're counting the diamond objects. So we're getting that count, and then we're going to store that into a temporary variable. We'll just call it, I don't know, num diamonds. Okay. So we're creating a variable called num diamonds. We're counting up how many diamonds there are, and we're stuffing that value into this variable called num diamonds. And then we can say, well, if, so here's the if thing. Put that on the bottom. We want to make sure that this variable name matches this variable name. So we say num diamonds. Num diamonds. And I always like to err on the side of caution. So instead of just saying equal to 0, I want to say less than or equal to 0. I don't know how you would ever get a negative number from this diamond count. But just in case you do, we still want the door to destroy itself. The last step then is to destroy the door or itself. So we say destroy. Make sure when you drag this destroy out there, you put it on the right side so that it's controlled by this if statement. We do actually want to destroy ourselves because we're in the door, and the door we want to destroy itself when there's no more diamonds. Let's try that to see if it works. Okay, so here I go. Here's one diamond. I'm going to go grab it. Door's still there. I get grab it again. Door's gone. Now I can get out. Okay? And that's enough for today. We've got diamonds and doors working. We'll worry about exiting and getting to the next room next time. But we've made a lot of progress today. We have a character that moves around pretty well. Got our movement stuff going. And we got diamonds and doors done. Yay. All right.